have these two. We have the big stuff come down from the next.
Almost. Are we live? All right, it's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Angola Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, June 26, 2023. Can I have the roll call, please?
Mike Sutter,
Here.
Susan Ralston, Grant Moore,
Here.
Howard McKeever,
Here.
and myself.
And we do have a quorum. Want to welcome everybody here tonight. Make sure that you've signed in out front. If you haven't yet, the sign up sheet is out there. A little bit how we run our meetings is the first thing that will happen, we'll call the case and the city planner will read the staff report. We'll then ask the petitioner to present any relative facts to the case and the board will question the petitioner. We'll then ask for any demonstrators who would like to speak and also read any or introduce into the minutes all correspondence with the case. I do ask that when you do speak at the case, you come to the podium, give your first and last name and address. So after that is done, any demonstrators have spoken. We will then give the petitioner a rebuttal time. We'll then close the public part of the hearing. The board will discuss the case with no comments from anyone in the audience. We'll then go through the findings of fact and a vote will be taken. There are 4 of us here tonight, so it will take 3 votes for a case to be approved. So we're going to start with old business, 420 Lane 130 Fox Lake, development standards variances. But before we get started, go ahead. Oh, I forgot the approval of minutes. Sorry, let's do that first. Everybody has the minutes from the April 24, 2023 meeting. Is there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve as presented? So moved. We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Now on to old business. Fox Lake Road Development Standards variance.
I am going to recuse myself from this case.
So, go ahead. I will say then to the petitioner that it will take all 3 votes then for the case to be approved.
All right, sorry about that. So this is the staff report. The project is Fox Lake Edition. It's a development standards variances. There are multiple ones. The applicant is Pamela Graves. The owner is Giovanna Graves Hill. The location is 420 Lane 130 Fox Lake in Angola. The applicant is requesting relief from the front yard setback and the rear yard setback. The property is zoned Lake Residential. Tonight is the hearing date. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on June 16th, and 20 property owners within 300 feet were sent a letter on May 8th. This property is not located in a floodplain. Some project background and summary. The applicant plans to build their front porch back to its legal nonconforming status and expand the footprint. This property is located in the ETJ. There are two lots, lot 37 and 38, which were platted in 1926. The applicant is also working to amend the plat and combine the lots so they conform to today's standards. However, they are working with a licensed surveyor, which is what's required, so that will happen in July. The historic significance of the property, it is in the historic district of Fox Lake, which was established in 2001. Let's see. The historic district contains modest cottages, most of which were constructed before World War II. Many of the cottages are one-story frame construction with gabled roofs and concrete block foundations. Most either have open or screened-in porches, some of which that have been enclosed for more interior space. Within the district, this house in particular is called out as an impressive example of an effective two-story dwelling with gabled roof, exposed rafter ends, fly rafters, a gable porch, metal cast windows that was built in 1940. And here's that district specifically. And then this is a picture from that report of the home. So we're going to go down to the site plan. This has changed a bit with getting some plans today. So essentially, the property is not conforming to today's standards, the structure itself on the property. So what's shown in red are the additions, and then what's shown as green is what's still there today. But it would need that variance in the back. So we're going to switch over. So this is the updated site plan. I can zoom because it wasn't letting me. So here you see this addition has been brought back. It was much longer. The middle part actually protrudes further out than the side ones. The windows are more prominent, more windows, like a porch itself. You have the gable over the main entrance, and it's not as wide either. So the west side, which would be this side, is approximately 9.5 feet wide and 11 feet long. It has 3 windows along that front facade. And we'll have a garage door. Is it still a garage door?
No, it's gonna be a double door.
That's what I thought. A double door facing the west. The east side is again 9.5 feet wide and 6 feet long, measured from here. And we'll have 3 windows across there and 2 on the side here. The front is that gable with 2 windows to the side and a double door going into the home. So it's changed a little bit since the staff report was written. So again, going over, this is the front yard area, rear yard area. They are going to need variances to those setbacks. No additions is planned in the backyard. That is about bringing the property in compliance. Obviously, the addition to the front that we just discussed. So today, where we're at is this is the structure. The front porch was removed because it was heavily damaged. So that was taken off. Just for everyone's clarification, the porch could be rebuilt with the same footprint. But the reason we're here tonight is because it would be a larger footprint. So again, here's some pictures, images, some of those windows. This yellow line is approximately where the addition will come out to. Just us trying to figure that out. That's the best. It's pretty close, within a foot or two. So again, here again, That's about as far out as the addition will come. And again, another perspective to show you of where that addition will come. So some contextual land use. This property is zoned lake residential and is surrounded by lake residential. There is some agricultural to the far south, high density residential clear to the west. Pretty surrounded by lake residential. The comprehensive plan, objective 1.5, strongly encourages redevelopment of underutilized lots. We've had quite a bit of public input, which we'll submit into the minutes. And they're all found online here. So you can see those. They were all in opposition. So to conclude, staff, in conclusion, staff is encouraged to see the restoration of the cottage and accessory structures within Fox Lake Historic District to further ensure measures are being taken to preserve the area so rich in history as well into the future. Staff does propose the question of whether the proposed addition embraces the historical significance of the cottage and that district that lies within. The next paragraph really is what staff recommended to the applicant, which she's made all those changes in those revised plans. So all of this really speaks to that, which she's already made those changes. Do you have any question for staff?
Any questions for staff? All right,
Yeah, if you'd like to.
yeah, Ms. Graves?
Okay. I included in the update a letter of intent kind of explaining what my design plans were and my elevations. I did work with the suggestions from the staff and their recommendations. And the revised plan shows that the storage rooms are in compliance with the highway department and that the setbacks are 21 inches away from the asphalt road. And the setbacks of the front porch is only 19 inches. Now, the code is not inches, feet. I mean, I was like,
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. The code is actually 20 feet. And we are asking for an adjustment of 1 foot in this area. That would just be the front part of the porch. The storage rooms.
That's the gable then, correct?
Yeah, that's the gable area. Mhm. The storage rooms and the front porch are all 15 feet wide. And I tried to keep that in balance with the actual layout of the house. Everything is kind of balanced, so I want to make sure that I kept that historical preference in the design. So I made sure everything was 15 feet in width. The roof peaks of the storage room are 11 feet 3 inches. And their depth is 9 feet 6 inches. The roof peak of the front porch is 11 feet 11 inches, which is the existing height of the peak that it is now. That's the current. Now, noting that the depth of these structures can be moved back 1 foot if it is recommended by staff, so that everything will be in compliance, that the gable front porch area will be 20 feet and the others will be back further, so that it will be 8 feet 6 inches wide instead of the 9 feet 6 inches wide. So if that's recommended and approved, we can go with that. On the southwest side, there's a storage room, and it is in compliance with the health department in that it is 12 feet from the black caps of the septic tank. What had happened, let me see. Get this picture out. Wait a minute. You can see it on page.
This one right here.
Yes, that area right over there. Now, we do own another lot on the opposite side of that. However, when they install our new septic system, they use the entire lot. So we cannot put anything over on that lot at all now. Just kind of, that was it. Otherwise, I tried, I questioned it because we were originally going to try to put it over there so they wouldn't have any problems. But because of the septic tank, we cannot put anything over there now. Okay. On the southeast side, the storage room is in compliance with the zoning department, and that it is 8 feet from the property line. The area labeled A on the design indicates the structure of a lower planter box or barrier that will be next to the curb drop-off. We have a curb drop-off. And because we have a lot of children in our family, and because that is a main road, we're trying to put something up so the kids will have a play area in front of the house in the new structure, but that the barrier, the planted barrier, will not allow them to go out into the street area. The area labeled B indicates the expansion of the front parking area by 3 feet, which will be raised to ground level, matching the asphalt. This addition will help alleviate the driving problems and hazards we have on our road, which is a main concern of that 130 road. So with that addition of adding those 3 feet to the road, that will give that passing and parking and everything will kind of help that out. So we're adding on to that because that was one of the concerns of the driving and the hazard of passing the cars, passing and everything like that. So I wanted to address that also. Now, the elevations, the south elevation shows that the facade is mainly constructed of windows that have muttons on it, reflecting the historic style of the original house. This was also suggested by the staff that they wanted a lot of windows up front instead of solid walls. So that's why we put all the windows in. The double doors with the muttons are also proposed on both the south elevation and the west elevation. So not only will have the double doors in the front, but we'll also use the double doors instead of a garage door on that west side. More in compliance with the historic flavor of the new construction. Now, the aerial view shows how the front porch is on the south side will be the one dominant gable roof with exposed rafter ends that extend further to the road than the proposed storage rooms. As shown in the elevation, the storage rooms will also have exposed rafter ends. So we're just gonna pop that out like the staff had suggested. And then, so that is the dominant feature when you approach the front. On the either end, it will also be we want to include the gable look there too, and just kind of like complement the historic value of the house. And this is what we're proposing. I could not, on the east side of the elevation on my hill, there's another hill there. I couldn't extend out there also. We have, this is a 2-story house, and on the basement area, we have bedrooms. And you can see where there's an egress window right there on that east side, and also the gas line is there. So there is no way we could even bump back further than from what we are proposing now. So this is my case, and I really hope that you approve. We do have a couple of questions about finishes of on the block, because we want to be environmentally safe and energy efficient. I have a question as to what I can put on the block on either side, the west and the east side, that would follow the historical preservation's approval of materials and go from there. Because I understand that it being in the historic area, it is a very big concern of the area and the association. And I want to comply with that as best as I possibly can. But I do also need additional storage because I can't put it on the east side or the west side, and we need storage. So all I had was bringing it to the front south facade.
So when you're asking on the concrete blocks?
On the concrete block.
Okay.
Yeah, what kind of materials can be used that would be in a historically approved? Okay. Because paint, you can see that hill, we have to try to paint that every few years, and it's just flake off like it has now. So we want to avoid that, make it energy efficient, and be a one-time deal and done. And look right, and complement the Historic Preservation Association interest. Okay, thank you.
All right, hold on a second.
Yes.
Questions? All right. I don't either, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Who else, anyone in the audience like to speak?
Yes.
Again, give your first and last name and address, please.
My name is Tim Davy. Our property is located at 435 Lane 130, which is directly across from the addition.
Claritha Davy, 435 Lane 130. Again, across the street. Were you going to? Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity to present our opposition to this variance requested for 420 Lane 130 Fox Lake. We did submit an email, which Brett Steele acknowledged receipt of on May 18th, 2023. We are property owners on Fox Lake. And in response to the original letter we received from the City of Angola Board of Zoning Appeals, we stand before you in opposition of the Section 1864 Lake Residential District Development Standards for reduction of the minimum front and rear setbacks. And again, as has been stated, the property in question is directly across from our lake cottage located at 435 Lane 130. We've owned our lake home since 2002, and we have enjoyed the views from our front porch for those many years since. In fact, the view that is in question was a key factor in our decision to buy on Fox Lake. This view was central to the overall design of our lake home. If this project is approved to proceed by you, the zoning board, our lake experience will be forever changed. We will no longer have a quality view of Fox Lake. What we will see is a structure that obstructs our view. We do not believe our lake experience should be negatively affected by the property owner and tenant's desires to make structural modifications for this property. The clear views on the lake afforded Ms. Graves from the property in question will not be affected. She will yet have very clear views of the lake, ours being obstructed with this construction variance. We don't know if you as members of the board visited the site prior to today's hearing. If yes, we hope, because we had encouraged you to sit on our front deck and imagine the effect this project would have on our lake experience if approved. So allowing this variance to further encroach upon right-of-ways would not be in the best interest for us as property owners and the Fox Lake community either. We do thank you for this opportunity to voice our concerns, our opposition in this hearing. And in closing, please recognize the hardship this variance, if approved, would cause due to the obstructed views of Fox Lake and encroachment upon the setback for lane 130. So we're requesting the city of Angola reject Yvonne Graves Hill, property owner, and tenant Pamela Graves' request to construct this addition. Respectfully submitted, Timothy and Claretha Davy.
I'd also like to add that not only would the obstruction of our lake view take place, but our internet access would be affected because our antenna for the internet, we have internet access on one side of the lake, on the south side. The antenna is on our clubhouse, on the Thompson Lodge. And right now, our antenna looks directly at the antenna down at the Thompson Lodge location. With this property being extended to the side, it's going to totally block that. And so we're not certain that we would even have internet access at that point in time. With regard to the historical aspects of this property and of the properties on Fox Lake, I'm not certain of all the historical requirements for maintaining the historic district. But if a property is changed as I've understood it, if the outside facade of the property is changed from the original historic presence, then is that going to change the designation of that property as a whole? Would it still be on the historic registry? And if in fact it would not, is that going to affect the Fox Lake community as a whole in terms of chipping away at our historic district? And that's one of the concerns we have as well. We understand that Yvonne Graves owning the property has the ability to make changes, but we don't feel that those changes should negatively affect our lake experience and our residing there. So if you have any questions.
In addition to the right of way.
In addition to the right
Because
of way.
I'm looking at the picture, which today is we appreciate you making the presentation. Information that we're seeing today was not originally forthcoming in the communication in the letter that we received. We received it on May 18th. I understand you sent it on May 8th.
Yeah.
And again, so this is new information that we're receiving recently, very recently.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Carol Karst Wasson. My address is 115 Lane 130A, Fox Lake. I am one of the few people who's a full-time resident there at Fox Lake. And today I would like to share a few of my own thoughts, but also read a letter from the Fox Lake Preservation Foundation into record. And this was written by our president, Cat Hawkins, who could not be here today. To the commissioners of the City of Angola Board of Zoning Appeals. The mission of the Fox Lake Preservation Foundation is to preserve the African American cultural heritage and the natural and built environments of Fox Lake. The foundation is opposed to the variance request, as we firmly believe that historical preservation should be prioritized over granting the requested variance. As evidenced by the original National Register of Historic Places application, 420 Lane 130 Fox Lake is a contributing structure to the recognized district. This is where I'd like to interject just a little bit of my own personal knowledge, having been very involved with historic preservation for 30 years. Buildings can actually become delisted if too much of the original fabric of a building is taken away or replaced with materials that are not suitable. So, and I've seen this happen in Noblesville, Indiana, where the whole downtown was placed on the National Register of Historic Districts. And the post office, after undergoing remodeling and 3 walls left, was taken out of that district as a contributing building. So the staff posits whether the proposed addition embraces the historical significance of the cottage and historical district it lies within. The foundation does not believe this addition accomplishes either. The addition would drastically alter the aesthetics of the historic district and would negatively impact the enjoyment and safety of the community. The addition would, number one, alter or block entirely lake views of neighbors to the south. 2, it would likely eliminate one neighbor's ability to access the internet, probably others. 3, adversely affect, if not totally negate, 2 south side neighbors from accessing their driveway. And number 4, decrease visibility and the ability to traverse the road safely. The staff report also recommends the south facade to have only one dominant gable, and each addition to embrace the porch look, essentially including a majority of windows along the facade rather than a solid wall, which we discussed. This would retain the character of the cottage to the era it was built. Staff feel these modifications are historically appropriate and would also serve the needs of the applicant. If this advice is not followed, the cottage would be the only structure on the entire lake that has a front wider than the original structure. Preserving our historical structures is essential for maintaining a sense of identity, cultural significance, and connections to our past. These sites are tangible reminders of our shared history and serve as educational resources for future generations. Encouraging adaptive reuse of existing structures or incorporating historical elements into new construction can strike a balance between progress and conservation. By granting a variance that could potentially undermine the preservation of such sites, we risk losing a part of our collective memory and diminishing our understanding of the past. Furthermore, historical preservation contributes to the overall aesthetic appeal and character of our community, not to mention the value of home going up. These structures enhance the visual landscape of our neighborhoods, creating a sense of charm and distinctiveness that cannot be replicated by modern construction. The foundation and presumably most property owners understand that there are relatively few limitations put upon our property owners who wish to make changes to their dwellings. However, it is the hope of the foundation that any such changes would be done with the care and desire to not adversely affect the historical nature of this amazing community or to negatively affect the enjoyment of their neighbors. The foundation would also implore property owners and the zoning board to ensure any updates or modifications are done with as few, if any, variances to the already very lenient zoning rules of the Lake Residential District. The foundation respectfully urges you to consider the long-term consequences and make the only decision that upholds the values of preserving our history for the benefit of present and future generations by denying the variance request. Thank you for your consideration. And further, a comment I would like to make, the original picture you showed of the home, hon, can you show that again?
Page
No,
2.
Page 2.
Yeah, that's it.
Or no, up one more, that one.
Okay.
Okay. And I know, Pam, you said that this porch was deteriorating. Well, there was already porch there, so the porch has been removed, so there goes some historic fabric right there. A lot of the windows have been removed. There goes more historic fabric. What I would suggest in your planning is bring it out to the sides of the house so that it's not any bigger than it and does not block those side views. Bring your porch with your ideas And just bring it to the edge of each side. Be done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh. I wanted to leave you with these.
We have copies of that letter. Oh.
That's.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Name is Galen Barham.
Sorry, what's your last name?
Barham, Barham. I live at 250 Fox Lake. I am a member of the board of directors for Fox Lake Property Owners Association. My wife is a board member of the Preservation Committee for Fox Lake. I won't go through all the feedback that we've received so far. I'm here as a board member to share with you that our chairperson has already sent you notification of our opposition to the variance. And all the board members are in support of that. Two things that are very important to me is the historical value of this property. This case will probably be the standard by which you make decisions in the near future in terms of historical value. There is a project underway. It's your name, but
McKinsey,
I'm sorry.
with McKinsey here at the city.
Yes,
Mhm.
that they are wanting Fox Lake to be part of their proposal. And supposedly that would make it more effective in terms of their acquiring that grant. And I think that's very important to know. Other than that, I just want you to know that we meaning the property owners, and I'm a year-round property owner with my wife. We are definitely opposed to this variance. It will change Fox Lake as we know it. And we're trying to preserve the historical value as we move forward. And I think if this case is, if you agree to this variance, I think this, as we said before, this is going to change the view of Fox Lake, not only for the people who live here, but the people who also visit. And you know how other lakes have exploded in terms of properties. And we are trying to eliminate that. Well, we can't eliminate it, so we're trying to minimize that at Fox Lake. We want to maintain the historical structure that we have grown to know. And we appreciate your giving us the opportunity to voice our opinion. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is John Edmond, and I live at 220 Lane 130, Fox Lake. And my wife and I, Marcia, has been there for approximately 10 years. And the primary reason we purchased there is because of the historic value of the area. I think everything that I wanted to say has been already said, but one thing I want to emphasize, I am a former president of the association. One of the biggest challenges we've had there are the roads. Also, cleaning the roads of snow and properties being located right on the road and people having to park there. And some of the people that we have contracted to remove snow have commented on that. So anything that would encroach further on the road, I truly oppose, in addition to things that have already been said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
name's Bob Kessler. I live at 555 Fox Lake. I've been up here for 3 years or a little bit better. We went through you guys before. I put up a building back of my lots. And I think Pam's doing the right thing. She needs some more room to do what she wants as a family and her friends and stuff. My personal opinion, and I respect Davies, I respect all you guys, but there's a lot of stuff here that could be rolled over, could be just saying, hey, let her do it. Because my personal opinion, most of these views from the lake are important. I know that. We don't have that good of a view either, but there's trees in the way, there's other things in the way other than a house. Davies has got a house that's quite a ways up. And I know they'll probably see some roof line. But it's not no big house. I really think it's, some of this is overkill on people saying negative stuff. Because Pam kept her place up. She cut down a whole bunch of trees that made it a lot better for everybody down through there. I think we ought to do it, have her do it. But that's my own personal opinion. And I think a lot of people ought to think of what they're doing down there now. Because people are going to clean up and fix up those old houses down there. And if they don't, they should. We want them to. And some of this, back in the 30s and 40s, what they did to their houses, and you had old siding, old this and old that. I understand some of that, but I don't understand why some people can't take that and say, hey, we're gonna clean them up. There's some doing them, some aren't, but we got new siding and stuff on our house. My daughter lives right next to me, and she's got an old, looks like a log house. That is, it looks nice, but it's not good. It's, in the wintertime, she freezes in that house because there's a lot, no, we've insulated as much as we can without having the look not changed. But I'm just telling you, there's a lot. We're living in 2023. We're not living back in the 40s. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be practical. I'm trying to be practical for Pam and all the neighbors. And I believe there is some, they're going to lose some view. But I'd rather lose some view than maybe someday lose a neighbor or whatever. So that's my personal opinion.
Anyone else? All right, Ms. Graves, we'll give you some rebuttal time. Anything you want to say?
From the letter that Mr. Davies had presented to you, he suggested that you go up onto his front porch. So I did. I went up on his front porch to see kind of how much my new structure would block his view. Yes, there is going to be some blockage, no doubt about it. But on the other side of that, which is a lot that he owns, there is plenty of lake view that he could see from his porch. I also know that they have a 2-story house, which they can see a lot of the lake from the second floor. I'm not adding a second floor. I'm not going over the existing peak of the roof that already is there. And I have reduced the square footage of the storage units that I am proposing quite a bit, because I do want to keep in compliance with the neighborhood and historic preservation, but I need storage. And I cannot put anything on either on either side of my property. I have no options there, but I need storage. And the only place I have is in the front facade. Trying to keep in compliance with the historic look that is presented by adding the windows as much as possible, the gables, exposed rafters. I am trying to comply with the historic look. True enough, some of, it will expand past the existing cinder block of the house, but it's storage that I need, it's space that I need. There are other locations on the lake that their outdoor units extend because they need the storage. So all I'm asking is that I be allowed to do the same and keep in compliance with the historic preservation look. Yes, it's going to change the facade some, but it will also complement it because it will improve the neighborhood. It'll be a better look than what is up there now. Internet may be a problem, but that's not a permanent fixture. That can be adjusted. And that's why, and as far as the road is concerned, I'm already requesting to put an additional 3 feet on the road where my drop off is. Actually, that is helping that road situation with the parking, because I usually park on the side. So all of that additional 3 feet plus the exact road, that's all clear for passing. That's all road. So that hazard and driving hazard is not or should not be an issue with this proposal. It should be a plus because I've added on to it. We need the space. I can't do anything on either side of my house. And we need the storage space. That's why I'm asking you to approve this proposal.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, we'll close the public part of the hearing. Any comments?
What is our ending up past the main structure on the sides? How many feet past the main structure?
So look at the end of your staff reports, I printed off for you what was submitted today.
Oh,
And you'll be able to see, I think I put in
6
here.
feet and 11 feet.
Yeah, no, 11? I'll look. Yep, so 6 feet on the east side, 11 feet on the west side.
So that's 11 feet past the end of the house.
Correct.
Go.
Oh, okay. It's after the findings of fact,
Yeah.
No.
going in the packet.
After the findings of fact page, I added what Emma gave me today, those plans.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments? All right, any anything else? Anything else? All right. Then we'll go through the findings of fact, please.
All right. Yeah. So findings of facts, the approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not?
Everyone's agreed will not?
Yes.
The variances will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because the dwelling will have adequate utilities and proper approvals from the Steuben County Drainage and Health Board. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not. Will not.
Will.
Can you just note that? Sorry. So I'm going to move forward with the will not findings. Is that correct?
Have to know both, correct?
Right, unless it's there, unless all findings are in support of the petitioner, the petition fails with this,
So with the will, we would do the denial one finding.
it would be a denial.
So staff proposes the finding that because the proposed aesthetics take away from the historic district characters that have been utilized for many decades and established in 2000. Is that an agree, disagree? Or just that same voting, correct?
It would appear to me that it would be a split, one in support of that, two against that.
Okay.
Which would mean that petition would fail.
So it'd be the denial one that we adopt. Okay. The next one, the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Well,
Will. All right, so everyone said will. Because the property was platted almost a century ago with different building best practices. Additionally, the existing dwelling being built over 8 decades ago was positioned in a manner not feasible with today's standards. Agree or disagree?
Agreed. So how do we do the motion? In the positive and then?
Based on those findings, it must fail. As the petition has failed, because this board needs to find all of those findings in support of the petitioner or the petition fails. And one of the findings was not made, so it has to be a denial.
So we still have to do a motion.
Pardon?
We still do a motion.
You can do a motion as long as it can't override the fact that one of the findings wasn't in support, so.
So is the motion still in the positive?
Yes, you can make the motion in the positive,
Okay.
Then you would just vote no.
and it,
That's how it goes. So
Yes.
go ahead and make the motion, Alice.
Move that we approve, what is our case number?
There is no case number.
Just
I move that we approve Lane 420 Lane 130 Fox Lake as presented.
I'll second that motion. Do we, all in favor, signify by saying aye? Aye. Oppose, same sign? Aye. So the variance does fail.
I remember Ralston in the third.
Yes, please.
so to clarify, the motion did fail. The variances did. The rest of you do not have to stick around for the other cases, but you're more than welcome if you'd like.
Thank you. What can I
I have to keep running the meeting, but I can do more tomorrow, later this week, yeah.
Okay, so they cannot bring it back to you? Okay, all right, thanks.
Options.
All right, thanks.
All right. Next case is 500 block of West Gilmore Street.
Somebody with the jacket, excuse me, somebody with the jacket or something here.
Land use variance and then also a development standard variance for the 500 block of West Gilmore Street.
All right, so this project is what we're calling Trine Fiveplex. There's multiple development standards variances. The applicant is A&D Specs. The owner is Ralph and Sherry Trine in the 500 block of West Gilmore. The property is zoned TR, traditional residential. The request is for 1, a land use variance for permitted uses, and 2, development standards variances for driveway separation. Tonight is the hearing date. Legal notices appeared in the Herald on June 16th, and 31 property owners within 300 feet were sent certificate of mailings on June 14th. Title 18 of the UDO, along with 36-7-4 it's not on there, but I think it's the 800 series of Indiana code is applicable here. It's not in a floodplain, and staff is recommending conditional approval. To summarize, in the fall of 2017, the owners purchased both lots 3 and 4 of Metzger Edition. Shortly thereafter, the dwellings on each of the lots were raised, leaving just the single accessory structure along the alley, which is on lot 3. The petitioner intends to develop 5 townhomes on those vacant lots. Each unit will be 2-story, consisting of 1,550 square feet. It's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, open living area, and a single stall garage. So the property is located in traditional residential, which dwelling multifamily 5 to 8 units is not permitted. The petitioner is seeking a land use variance to allow that use, as well as the 2 development standards variances for the driveway. For that, the driveway separation here, this graphic helps explain it. You do have to be set back 100 feet from intersections. They're proposing 25.5, which you see highlighted in yellow, and reducing a separation between driveways, which is required at 16, to 9.5, which is shown in green. Here you see the proposed just lot layout on the corner of Gilmore and I think it's Darling, an elevation. And then here are some floor plans, the main floor and the second floor of each unit, how it will look. Here's just some images. So this is looking east on Gilmore. And then here is same, like we're on Gilmore, but it's looking over the lot. That's the accessory structure. Go down. Here's the intersection. So you're looking over the lot here. This is where the homes would be built. And then directly onto it from Gilmore as well. And then here, we're looking down Darling. This is the alley. That accessory structure is back here. Can't really see it behind the trees, but there it is. Just some more views of the lot. So this is over on Jackson Street. Townhomes, they would be built basically the same look as these, which was also done by the Trines, and I believe built by A&D, right? You guys built this? Yeah. All right. Comprehensive plan, all these objectives, 1.5, 1.7, 1.10, 1.16 A and B, all speak in support of a project like this. You'll see on our future land use map that this area is set for high density residential areas where the star is at. Again, the housing study, we talk about that a lot here. So again, we can absorb all types of housing, but especially multifamily housing, to summarize that. Contextual land use, again, is zoned traditional residential, basically surrounded by traditional residential, with the first center to the front or towards the south. Some UV zoning as well. So that gives you some context as well. Staff recommendation, in conclusion, staff is encouraged to see infill development in support of the request, transforming vacant lots into housing within close proximity to downtown and a university, fully embraces the Angola comp plan and encourages growth and improves quality of life. Additionally, given the 2020 housing study, there's no question that housing is needed in Steuben County. The lot is well suited for high density residential development as their suitable size, shape, and accommodate multiple units. The transportation plans classify Gilmore as a local street that has little traffic traveling at low speeds and ample off-street parking is specified for each unit. Not generating any new or significant safety hazards. Staff does recommend the following condition approval, that lot 3 and 4 at Metzger Addition is combined prior to the issuance of any temporary or permanent C of O, and all plan review comments will be completed prior to the issuance of any permits. Is there any questions for staff?
Are there plans for the rest of that block to also eventually, probably?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not, I really.
I thought that's a long time ago when it came here. I think that's what it was presented that way, but.
No. No.
It's not as- Two they own.
All right, who's gonna speak?
Hello, I'm Don Wise, P.O. Box 682 in Ghana. My business partner Aaron Sturry, P.O. Box 661 Angola. And so yeah, she kind of took most of everything I was going to say for the positive. But yeah, we do believe it's going to be very beneficial and appealing for the area. Help with the housing shortage. Does go along with the other duplexes on that block and surrounding blocks, and along with the of course the sevenplex that is on Jackson Street, and then also the new complex that will probably be going up where the frozen locker is on Gilmore again. Be basically the same concept. So other than that, then on the 100-foot setback, which we probably should look at that and change that someday, because that lot is not will never be able to be built on unless there was a variance, because that lot is not even set 100 feet. So other than that, if you have any questions for me.
I guess my question is the driveways. Why not do the driveways like that? So we don't have separate driveways for all of them.
They are. Right? You are, right, John?
Well,
No? Okay.
Each
I thought you
one-
said-
Separate driveways.
So what we did is,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Trying to make it more personal.
Excuse me?
the roof line wasn't really working out towards that. We did, flip the building so we could get the driveway as far away from the intersection as possible.
You mean the unit itself? Right?
So if you put the driveways together, then the two doors will be together. So like the entry door, so it wouldn't be as private of an entrance.
But you have that on the other one, right? Yes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, see the center ones, the two entrances are basically side by side. So
Just a question.
it's you want to add to that?
Well, if I
Sure.
can.
Go ahead.
The reason they decided to separate these is to make them more personal, because if one car gets over a little bit on that side, they were having problems down here, but they got it all worked out. Or you have a friend over and all of a sudden they park way over on the side and then the other person has no parking. So they wanted to make these more personalized where each one had its own driveway.
Makes
It felt
sense.
more like a house.
And then if you snow shovel and you throw your snow on the neighbor.
No.
Yeah, it could happen. So, but anyways.
Wanted to make it more personalized.
Sure. Thank you.
So is there on-street parking on the, well, it's not this one, obviously. Would there be on-street parking on?
There is on Darling.
So is that going to inhibit in any way?
It's not on Gilmore right now, it's on Darling.
It's on Darling and not, okay.
Is the backyards, I guess, that's the only thing I don't see. Are we set well enough away from the backyards? Okay.
And the accessory structure will be coming, the detached garage that's there now will be
Right.
coming down.
Okay. That's going to be my question.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Did we have any correspondence received or anything, Jennifer?
No, we did not.
Is there anybody here tonight like to speak on the case? Not, we'll go to the findings of fact. There's two of them, so we'll do the land use variance first.
Alrighty. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
Staff proposes the finding that the buildings will meet all minimum dwelling and life safety requirements for a dwelling multifamily. Additionally, adequate off-street parking is provided. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
Staff proposes the finding that because the use complements existing uses and neighborhood character, additionally, the development of a vacant lot will increase surrounding property values. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
That the need for the use variance arises or does not arise from some condition peculiar to the property involved.
Arises.
Staff proposes the finding that rezoning the property to where the desired permitted use is granted would not comply with numerous development standards as outlined in Title 18. Additionally, the property is more than accommodating for this use. It should be noted that the housing affordability of those living and working in the community is difficult, as shown in the 2020 housing study. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not constitute a non-necessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought.
Will.
Staff proposes the finding that because a dwelling, multifamily, will fit the character and development pattern of the area. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The approval does or does not interfere substantially with the Angola Comprehensive Plan.
It does not.
Staff proposes the finding that because the plan dedicates this area as high-density residential and complements several objectives that we went through, 1.5, 1.7, 1.10, 1.16A, and 16B. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
That's it.
All right, do I have a motion? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. So next is the driveway
Yes.
variance.
All right. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
Staff proposes finding that because each unit will provide adequate off-street parking, have proper utilities within a short walking distance to downtown University, and the appearance to adjacent townhomes. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Staff proposes the finding that the development complements neighboring properties in the use and finished materials. The setback and lot widths will practically be identical to the owner's previous builds on property to the west. Gilmore Street is a neighborhood street that has little traffic traveling at low speeds. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Well,
Staff proposes the finding that because the 2020 housing study calls for more diversity in housing to meet the needs of young and older residents. Agree or disagree?
agree. Have a motion?
Move that we approve as presented.
Second?
Now, yeah, go ahead.
Second. Is there discussion or?
The staff did propose conditions. It's okay.
Want to amend your motion to put with the conditions that are listed?
I will amend my motion of approval with the conditions presented by staff.
Okay, all in favor of the motion with the conditions that are listed, number 1 and number 2? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
You're fine just to do one, Susan.
Okay. We should test those, with these conditions.
And on me. Alright. You guys can stick around if you want. You don't have to.
Very much.
Bye. Yeah, we gotta finish our plan review. All right, next case is front yard fence, development standards variance. The applicant and owner is Michelle Roselle. The location is 721 Pine Run. They're requesting relief from the fence and wall standards in the R4 multifamily residential district. Tonight is the hearing date, June 26th. Notices appeared in the Herald on June 16th. 31 property owners within 300 feet were sent certificate mailings on June 13th. Title 18 of the UDO and the Board of Zoning Appeals 36-7-4-900 series. That's wrong earlier. Not located in floodplain and conditional approval is what staff is recommending. On April 24, 2003, the petitioner appeared in front of this board requesting relief to install a 6-foot tall privacy fence at her property at 721 Pine Run. To assist with the containment of her dog and security, sense of security. At the time, the initial site plan was the placement of the 6-foot tall privacy fence along the property line within the front yard facing Todd Drive. The property is a through lot. This includes, so this lot has 2 front yards and 2 side yards. The yard along Todd Drive and Pine Run are both considered front yards. So these are the standards that lay that out for location of fences in front yards. So you'll see what's permitted there. So again, this is a through lot and explanation. And here's the actual lot. Todd Drive, Pine Run. So both are front yards. The petitioner was denied that request for the development standards variance after the board made several findings. So to bring us to today, the applicant has modified their request. The applicant wishes to install a 6-foot privacy fence just around the patio, so that's shown in yellow. And then a 4-foot tall decorative fence that's shown in the orange color. That would be in a front yard and 3 foot is allowed, but they're asking that additional foot to be the majority of it. We kind of just covered all that before. So again, 6 foot in the yellow sections, 4 foot in the orange sections. The petitioner did submit this photo showing what type of fence. We might need to clarify that this would be both for the 6 foot and the 4 foot, but this is definitely what they submitted for the 4 foot tall. So it's not a solid fence, which is important because a 3 foot decorative fence is what's permitted, which means it can't be solid. So they're just proposing a 4 foot decorative fence. Here's some pictures of the property along Todd Drive. This is the backyard there. That's Todd Drive. This would approximately be where the fence would sit because that is the property line. Textual zoning here. It's all R4 along the street. Pine Run on the other side is R2. And then behind Todd Drive is the school. Objective 2.3 talks about property maintenance and zoning regulations. We had 3 letters that were submitted and are in the online folder. We will make sure those get into the minutes, but I believe everyone's had a chance to look those over. They're all in opposition. In conclusion, staff is supportive of the fence and agrees that a through lot is not commonly seen in our community. However, it's not a hardship. A 4 foot tall fence, 4 foot tall decorative fence is a compromise that will serve the property owner's desire for the fence while not negatively affecting the neighborhood character. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Good evening. My name's Michelle Roselle, 721 Pine Run Drive. You said quite a bit of what I was going to mention, that after having conversations with family and friends, thinking that the 4 foot fence would be doable if permitted. I do still have that large dog that does like to jump, but if he happens to go over that fence, I'll deal with that if that happens. The 6 foot privacy is just along the side of the patio. And then we'll connect with the 4 foot fence. The fence also will be a little bit farther back from the property line because there are utilities that are right in there, but.
Which property line?
Like it's 29, I think, and a half from the road, but then it'll be, I think, a couple feet even.
So along Todd
farther.
Drive.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
6 foot fence, is that a solid fence then?
I'm going to try, I haven't talked to the fence company recently, going to try to get it to match that picket fence. I don't think there'll be a problem with that. It is a different, he gave me info for a different company to look at this time, but I think it could still be a picket type fence.
I mean, I guess I'll ask you the same question I did last time. Do you think that this affects the character of the neighborhood in a adversely manner? Because that's one of the questions that we have to answer.
Right. I don't, I know last time I said, yes, it definitely would. I feel that with the 4 foot fence, it's just a foot taller than the decorative fence that I could put out there. And then as far as the privacy along the patio, I think that's permitted. So no, I don't think it will affect it negatively.
Any other questions?
And this, because I noticed the fire hydrant there, will that impede any safety?
No, there'll be, because there's a utility pole there too. So it will come, I think, kind of an angle. Can't see it on the picture very well, but no, we've taken
It'd be
that into
outside the fence.
consideration and,
Yeah, it'll be
yeah, the
outside
hydrant
the
will be on
fence,
the
but-
outside, absolutely,
For them to get
Mhm.
into
Right.
the property to
Right.
do.
absolutely. And there'll be a gate out there also.
Yeah, so that might be a suggestion is the gate go right by the hydrant so they can easily the fire, if there was a fire.
Howard, Mike?
Yes. I know I posed this question last time you were in.
Mhm.
And then before I ask it, I will preface it by saying my son and daughter-in-law have a big Labrador. He's goofy, he's aggressive in a kind way, and they do it all with the underground fence.
Mhm.
Why haven't you considered that?
Well, I have talked to numerous people that have had those. And I know you said your son-in-law's not had problems with that. A couple people said that they had a dog that would just go up to that area and stand and then would just shake because he was being shocked. I had another couple that told me they had a big lab and the lab would also get close to it and had burn marks on its neck from the collar. So it's not something that I wish to consider for my dog. I think it's a personal choice.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Did you say that there were no?
There were three.
Okay, you can have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
I do think there was some confusion when reading these, that they still thought that the same proposal was coming back. I tried to clarify that with a few people. But yes, all three of
Okay.
these were in opposition.
Is anybody here tonight like to speak on the case?
I'm Charlotte Martin. I live at 801 Pine Run. I strongly object to this fence being put up. We are on an island. And to the best of my knowledge, I've lived there for 29 years plus. To the best of my knowledge, no one has ever wanted to put up a fence. The previous owner at 721 had an underground fence. She had 2 dogs, and when she remembered to put their collar on, they didn't go out the yard. I object to the privacy fence because I have a sunroom on the back of my house, and I like to sit out there and enjoy watching the neighborhood kids play, just being out. And that fence would be in my face. That's all I would see. I just do not want to change the look of the neighborhood. And I'm sure there's a lot more, but I can't think of anything right now because I hate public speaking.
All right, thank
I
you.
don't do well, sorry.
You did fine.
I just don't want that fence up. I'm sorry. Your dog is not dumb. He will learn not to go across the fence, and he will learn quickly. And it won't hurt him. It'll just shock him a little bit.
Ms. Roselle, any rebuttal?
Just about the privacy part along the patio, I don't believe that will impede her view of, mine goes up just a tad bit farther than her screened-in porch, but it wouldn't impede any of her view of any of the neighborhood children.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
So we'll close the public part of the hearing. Any comments?
I feel she's made a good compromise on it versus what we had before. It's an odd situation, and it's a situation, there's no way you can make everybody happy there. I understand Michelle's concerns and needs, and the compromise she's made is much better than the first proposal.
Any other questions?
Can I see a picture of that neighborhood again? You got some photos of that, I believe.
Just overall, like these?
What I'm trying to get, keep going.
Okay.
Right here is a good one,
Uh-huh.
and the one before that.
Uh-huh.
It's a fenceless community. Why would we suddenly want to allow a fence up in this area? I don't understand it. And there are better ways to control that dog. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And I understand that there, you're allowed a 3-foot fence, but there's a huge difference between 3 foot and 4 foot. And because you can see them around town where some of them are, and I think it just changes also the neighborhood way too much. Any other comments? Now we'll go through the findings of fact.
The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will?
Well,
You say?
Yes, it will not.
So Howard is will not, okay. So we go with the deny, right? Right?
Well, it's not an approval or a denial. It's negative. It's,
Well, you have 3 saying will not, or will. Yeah, 3 saying will not, which is the approval.
so that finding of fact fails. There's no consensus on whether it will or will not do
Okay, so
anything, but it doesn't have enough support to prevail. So
you have no finding,
no finding. That's correct.
even though
Why didn't I say that?
3,
You need 3 to support a finding.
so 3 said will not.
Said will.
Will, sorry.
That's correct. If 3 said it will, I'm sorry,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Then you must make the finding that it will be injurious to the public
All right.
health. All right.
So staff proposes a finding that a 4-foot fence will obstruct views of adjacent property. Additionally, this would be out of character for the neighborhood. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will.
I say will not.
Okay. Susan, what did you say?
I will.
So staff proposes the finding that a 4-foot fence in the front yard includes no aesthetic or improvement to the curb appeal, providing an increase to the neighborhood property values. Do you agree or disagree?
Agree.
To disagree with this.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will not.
Will and land.
Susan,
Will not.
and
Well,
then the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will not result in a practical difficulty in the use of the property because owning and containing a dog is not unique to the property. Additionally, a 4-foot privacy fence will alter the neighborhood character. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I disagree.
Have a motion, please?
I move we approve variance as presented, 721 Pine Road.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Aye.
Do we have a second on the motion now?
Oh,
No, didn't
I'm
get
sorry.
Sorry about that. I would
Did you second?
Oh,
Okay,
aye.
sorry, I missed it. And then, so Brant, Mike, and Susan all voted no, correct?
Correct.
He's correct.
Written an exercise and how to do this. So that is all that we have.
Anything for next month yet on the agenda,
We
or
will be meeting next month.
that's the 24th?
We will be having, the first one I've done with you guys, appeal staff, like an appeal to staff. How do you say it, Kim? I don't know if you guys have ever had one at all, but at least I
No.
haven't taken you through one.
I think I've done one.
Any order issued by a department head can be appealed to this body.
Oh,
This
okay.
is your judicial function. So there was an order issued by a department head and the subject or the interested party is appealing it.
Oh, okay. I don't recall.
Maybe before you were on the board, but I think.
It's pretty unusual.
My first.
Well, Selman was mayor
Oh, my goodness.
when they came on.
22 plus years.
Yeah.
You need a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Who was the second? Howard went out.
Remember Jim?
Yeah.
He was on the boards when he
Oh, my goodness. You're
He got-
going back a
he got
long
into a fight with Selman. But you,
Hold on, hold on.
Mrs. Martin, did you understand the ruling of the board? They turned